Cool. I'll have to check that out.
Boom, boom. All right, you're here. What's up? This is Keith Kalfas with your Untrapped podcast. With the Untrapped podcast and your marketing ROI, interviewing Miles Beckler for my new book coming out soon. Miles Beckler is, I mean, we want to talk about one of the hardest working dudes in marketing that I know. Just like a year and a half ago, started his YouTube channel to find a place just to release all this energy of things that he's learned and practiced and implemented into his business and had success. He started a YouTube and just started giving out information. And this guy is blown up to 52,000 subscribers now already, just in like a year and a half. And it took me 4 years to hit 50,000 subscribers, or even 5 years. It's because the level of value he's putting out is like really the, with the jab, right hook, it's jabs and pure value. I mean, when I first found Miles Beckler's YouTube channel, I actually started downloading the videos like, oh shit, is he going to take this down? And I found out that other guys are doing that as well, because you're just pure, if you don't mind that I cuss a little, just pure fucking value, dude. And the one thing that you do most of all is you block time and you just crank shit out, and you've been able to systematize and grow several businesses like to the 6-figure level and beyond with you and your wife. So I want to interview you and start out, and you we'll totally freestyle here, but I do want one specific thing threaded in there is what are you a genius at, and how do you implement that, and how do you see that into your marketing? And then what do you suck at that you have to just delegate it to other people? So let's talk about that process.
All right. So the funny part is I'm really on point with what I suck at. And the whole what am I a genius at is a little bit more difficult question. So I'll start with what I suck at. And I suck at writing. And the interesting side of that is that my wife started our first blog, our first brand through writing. Like it was all WordPress, it was all written word. So for a long time, I looked at that like, oh, I need to become a writer and I need to write to become successful with this brand, the Miles Beckler brand, with teaching. The problem is I hate writing and I suck at it, and I judge the content I put out in the written word way, way too harshly, to the point where I never publish it, right? You're like, oh, this isn't perfect. This isn't perfect. This isn't perfect. And then it just sits on a Word doc on my hard drive forever, and it never gets published and nothing ever happens. So that was what I was really challenging. Like that was what I feel like I sucked at. And what I did instead was I found that YouTube was the medium that's really fun and easy for me to create content on. I got like a $40 iRig mic lav, which is like a lavalier mic that plugs into my phone. And I just started cutting videos and just started teaching one thing at a time, just go, and kind of expanded from there. And that was fun and easy. And that now I outsource the writing side of things. And I have a team that transcribes videos and essentially takes my video content and turns them into coherent, really good blog posts for me, because I suck at that. So like find what you're really good at, go do lots and lots and lots of that, and then outsource those pieces that you suck at that are your biggest challenge, and get other people, because like your biggest challenge is someone else's like sweet spot, right? Like there's writers on this world who like they love writing. They would like getting on YouTube scares the hell out of them. So like finding those complementary people. And like my genius zone is definitely in strategy. Is definitely seeing the big picture and seeing the 1, 3, 5 year plan, and being able to zoom out into situations, I think, and really kind of quickly get a survey of what's going on, what's working, what's not, what the business is, who the audience is, and what pieces and components are missing. Generally, it's content or conversion, and which one of those pieces are missing, and how someone can kind of like tweak and adapt their business from there. I don't do any coaching or consulting, like technically, I don't, it's not a process, but I've done so much coaching and consulting through the years that really is kind of one of my things. But I like to leverage that to my brand and my wife's brand. You know, I don't want to necessarily do hourly work exchanging my ideas for someone else's business to help them grow their assets. Like I just apply that nonstop on my businesses. My wife's 2 brands. My wife's got 2 brands that are firing. I've got this first one started, and I'm kind of laying the foundation for another brand. And all 3 of our brands are doing multiple 6 figures a year. And this new one I'm going to bring out will probably hit multiple 6 figures to 7 figures a year within a year and a half. And it's procedure, like it's process, like it just works every time. Like we've found a kind of a strategy and approach that just works. So it's like, let's just do it over and over for our stuff, is kind of where we're at this point.
That brings me to a question. So in this whole process and finally getting to where you are now on your journey, can you explain about some of the things in your businesses and in marketing that you've had to come to terms with, that you just have to cut and move
Yep.
on and totally let go of, because now those things that used to serve you are now holding you back.
Yeah, network marketing.
Uh,
So, and there's a greater philosophy there that was just a jab. If anybody's in network marketing, I actually kind of do dig the environment and that. There's a lot of it that's really cool, but it was the idea of chasing the money. I had to stop chasing the money. And once I stopped chasing the money and like, how am I going to get money from this? How am I going to make money online? How am I going to get from this online world? And when I pivoted that to how am I going to be of service to an audience? How am I going to give to this group of people who are looking for things? They're looking for solutions to their problems. What do I have that can help them solve those problems? How can I help them literally solve their problems, achieve their goals, etc. And then putting all of my focus, attention, and energy on being of service to them versus how can I get? And that shift was everything. So we're audience first. And that's what my wife did in the first brand, was through the written word, content marketing, just being of service to the audience. And then we found a few things we could sell. We're selling the same sort of things 5-6 years later, after actually 8-9 years later, after dialing that in. And me with the Miles Beckler brand, like you said, I've been nonstop giving through YouTube. Like literally, my goal, and I think I might be there at this point, is to be the most helpful marketer in the world. And my approach is to give more free, helpful information on YouTube than anyone else in the world has been willing to give. Everyone gives a little bit, and then they got the sales pitch, right? Everyone gives like, it's a great headline, like I want to see what's in the video, but then all of a sudden it like talks about it for 3 minutes, and it's like, oh, if you really want this, join my $1,995 course, which you can get here. And I'm just like, F it, I'm gonna give it all away for free. So what that's done is that's grown a very, not just a large audience, but a large audience of people who know, like, and trust me. It's not enough to have a big audience. You have to have that like trust factor. And I've gained that. So I'm kind of the trusted advisor for a large amount of people. And now when I recommend something and I'm like, yo, you need to go get this. Like I don't mention things you need often, but you need this because it's going to help you solve XYZ problem. And here's exactly how to use it. A large percentage of my audience actually take action. And those are affiliate relationships I have. So I get a kickback. That works. That's where all my money's coming from, and it's working like gangbusters because I've kind of just flipped the script on everybody else who's approaching kind of YouTube in a very different way, and I've been able to really niche myself out very quickly in that approach. Again, audience first. How can I be of service? What do they actually need? Not pitching to these people, like literally spending my days, nights, weekends figuring out how to make videos, how to solve their problems, how to help them solve their problems. So my wife and I have done it. It's one thing to do it. It's another thing to teach it. And I get mastery of it is kind of the byproduct, which I love.
Wow. So the long-term positioning model of the abundance model versus the scarcity model, because two things that brought up in my head is, one is somebody I've followed for years in the marketing industry. Just a guy by the name of Eben Pagan touched on something I want to ask you specifically. He was talking about when you get in the habit of creating value for people, there's actual value creation muscle. And the more you work that thing, you think, I can't do this. Like, where is it going to keep coming? But it actually grows exponentially on a different level that's not linear. So that makes sense. So I know I could see by your eyes.
Totally. And one more thing on Eben Pagan, he talked about moving the free line is something he dropped in his altitude. And he's been talking about that. He was kind of one of the guys who brought that phrase to the forefront of internet marketing. And it's been repeated a lot, but I feel like that's what my approach has been. Like, all right, well, let me move the free line to 100% of the information is going to be free. Let's really trust in that abundance model. If I give first and I trust that I'll get mine where I'm due, and like it actually is working. But Eben Pagan's an absolute gangster. I totally
gangster.
Yeah, totally internet marketing gangster.
I see you. It's a vision, but it's also obvious to me. A lot of these guys that are just getting older now and been in the business for many, many years, they're passing the torches down, and somebody's got to fly that flag in this whole new modern world. And when I see you as moving to the forefront of one of the top, whether you intend to do that or not, one of the top influencers in the world. That's just my observation.
Cheers.
And
man. So can I touch on that in a really interesting way? Like no one handed me a torch, right? Like I don't have a personal relationship with Eben Pagan. Like no one in the internet marketing world of the gurus who are on top of the mountain, like the Frank Kerns, like all these dudes who we look up to, no one was like, all right, Miles, you're next. You know who decided? This guy. I was like, you know what? No one's doing this. I'm gonna step up to the plate. I'm literally gonna give more value, and I'm just gonna do it. James Altucher has a book called Choose Yourself, and then Purple Cow dude. He has the book The Icarus Deception. Seth Godin, The Icarus Deception. Both of those books talk about the same idea. And it's like the old paradigm was the record label deems the new band as you're going to be the hot stuff. And the record label signs the band and then sends their records out and gets them on the radio and blah, blah, blah. Today is different. Today, the band builds their own audience and they sell their own tracks and singles for 99 cents on YouTube. The band that chooses themselves and hustles more wins, right? Not the band that's deemed by the big corporation. So in that same sense, like every listener and every viewer right now, like you can just step up and say, I'm going to be the absolute best in the world at this. And then here's the big part. You got to go put in all the work to actually get to that level. So my wife, our first business is my wife learned how to channel angels, which is kind of a very, very obscure little section of the spirituality world. And then we learned how to create channeled angel meditations. Like no one was doing this the way we were. And my wife was like, you know what? I'm just going to own this space. I'm going to own this. And 9 years later, she literally, like, she's the only person in contention for the potential of like the angel meditation person in the world. Like she's clearly number one. She kind of invented the niche, but she's also worked harder than anyone else in the space. No one deemed her, no big publishing company, no one. Like she was just like, I'm going to do this. I love this. It feels good. The feedback we get from people is great. Boom. Let's just go all in on that.
That's huge. So you can create opportunity. You can 100%. Manifest it and create a whole sub niche, a subcategory. Now you become worldwide dominator of that, and you create the blueprints, the footprint. That's amazing.
It's easier to dominate a niche you create than to step into someone else's niche and try to dominate their niche, right? Like it's a lot easier if you just create a new bucket to fill your bucket.
So this brings me to another point. If somebody's passionate about something, then like Kiyosaki said, you have to be willing to work for free for a long time to build that pipeline, because people go, I need money. I need money. So they keep getting stuck in what fulfills their short-term needs versus what fills the long-term. Talk a little bit on that.
Totally. So
what
like
pulls you through?
The ability to delay gratification is proportional to the success an entrepreneur is going to see long-term in their life. Like you have to be willing to delay gratification, and you have to be willing to put in work now to get the results you want in the future. Like you understand a little bit about landscaping, I'm guessing, right? Like you don't go put a garden in a house and it looks great day one, right? It takes more care, it takes more effort, it takes more energy, and it just doesn't quite look the way it's going to look. But that long-term vision of where that's going to be in 3 years, and then you see it too, you nurture it, you care for it, you clean the weeds out, you put in the time and energy. 3 years later, you got a beautiful garden, right? It's that same sort of philosophy that you really have to approach. And most people are absolutely looking for that quick hit. And the flip side of that is psychologically, we are, as human beings, we want to believe that there's shortcuts, right? Like we actually do at a deep subconscious level, we want all the rewards with no results. That's why the lottery sells so much that the lottery does. Like if you look nationwide, there's Powerballs, this state, that state. I don't even know what the numbers are. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars people put into lottery hoping that they're going to get something. The reality is that 80+% of lottery winners end up bankrupt. So like the reality and the hope is so off. And where I'm going with this is a lot of internet marketers and kind of shitty internet marketers are selling overnight, click here, $10,000 a month. It's going to happen in a week. Just copy my system and you're one funnel away from $1 bazillion. And it's all bullshit because they're avoiding the part that you have to put in the work for years and years and years. I think it's a 3-year plan. Right. And like you have to be willing to really dig in and put in the work for 3 years. And that's why right now on this channel, I feel like I'm just getting started with the Miles Beckler stuff. Like you have to be willing to put in the work for about 3 years till you're going to really truly identify that mold between what you're really good at, what you're helpful with, the audience, who you're being of service, what problems you help them solve, what headlines, what offers, what converts with them. And there's no way to speed up that process because it's a feedback loop. You have to have that feedback loop and you have to go through the time. So shifting, and that kind of goes all the way back to my first thing when you're like, what was your biggest mistake? And it was like, I was just chasing the money. I was chasing those get rich quick schemes. And I made the little MLM joke, right? Like they all promise like sign up 2 people, then they'll sign up 2 and 2 and 2. And then all of a sudden you'll have the entire world in 42 generations below you and you'll be a gazillionaire. Like, it sounds good. Not really true because it takes a lot of work. And it's like non-salespeople trying to learn how to sell other non-salespeople on becoming salespeople. And like, that just doesn't work long term.
You know, it's funny. I did internet marketing for years as well, multi-level marketing with Amway and all that since I was 18. I was running around in a suit and tie at 18.
Same here, man.
Scaring my friends off, bro. One time I stopped my friends were trying to leave my house, my little mobile home, and they're in the driveway, and I like stopped them and I was leaning in their car. Dude, if you leave now and you don't sign up, I'm gonna become a millionaire and you're gonna regret it. And they were like,
yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
I actually got in this one MLM about 5 years ago, and I just happened to get the right connections, and I didn't have my legs built out right, and it triggered a wave of about 4,000 people around the entire world that all signed up. And I was getting residual checks in the mail, and I would have got a lot more, but it was like, what the heck? I wasn't really even trying, and I just happened to hit the right people. But that just shows like you're always like one person away or one thing away from finding that one domino or learning how to identify that one domino. That's a good point. How do you identify the one domino that knocks over all the other dominoes?
Totally. And like trial and error is the greatest teacher in the world, I think, ultimately.
Oh, and one other thing I kept forgetting. One big part of my marketing ROI in my book is peppering in resources from where you've learned things, because I watched you on YouTube and you said there's this book called 6 Great Leads, like from Cold Worm.
It's called Great Leads, Great Leads, the 6 Ways to Start Any Sales Message by Michael Masterson.
Dude, so yeah, see, there you go. You just did it. That's perfect. And when you do that, I pause. Whoa, what did Miles just say? And I went straight to Kindle. I downloaded that book, bro, and I read that fucker in 2 nights. That book was amazing, and it only cost me like $14 or something like that. So pepper in resources if you can, if they come to your mind.
Totally.
So, okay, domino.
Oh, right. So the big domino, right? It's like Eben Pagan even talked about it. So like, to use Eben Pagan as an example, and like for those who don't know Eben Pagan, he has a YouTube channel, Get Altitude channel. He's got a lot of his training on there for free. You don't necessarily need to buy his stuff. He's created 10 separate $1 million brands. And what he did is he analyzed his personality, and he was like, all right, so I want to put out this new home study digital downloadable course, right? He wants to create a new information product, $1,000, $10,000 product, whatever it was for him. So he's like, what do I need to do to get that? And he's like, I'm not going to necessarily sit in my basement and record this thing from get-go. So he reverse engineered all of the dominoes. The last domino to fall was him having that entire product ready to sell. Well, for him, he knew his personality type, that the first domino when he worked all the way back was to book an event room at a hotel and sell tickets. Because when he sells tickets and he has an event room, he'll show up. And when he shows up, he'll have an audio video team record it. And when he shows up and he's got customers there, he's going to bring the real deal. And that's how he created like 4 or 5, if not more, of his original products.
Dude,
you with me?
I never looked at it
just explode.
Because that is the one domino. Because if you do an event, then you've got the real people, the live event that really pay you money. You got a video and audio team. Then you're syndicating the content like infinitum automatically and positioning yourself as a dude on stage and an expert all in one.
Right there. So before he did the Get Altitude seminar, which I think was like 2001, maybe 2002, right? So like 15 plus years ago, might have been 2004-ish, still about 15 years ago. So before that, he was doubleyourdating.com. He was a niche marketer. He was in the trenches, just like you and me doing a thing. And he was like, all right, I've learned a lot of really cool stuff and I'm ready to transition into a marketer who teaches marketers. So what did he do? He literally launched this huge Get Altitude seminar, and it was a $10,000 a seat seminar, and he recorded it. No one knew who he was. He was one of the first people to do a 5-figure internet marketing only seminar. He recorded the whole thing, and it just exploded. And ever since then, he's got the Midas touch, right? Because he proved himself. Because here's the big kicker: he brought the goods, and he had spent 10 years, like he was doing opt-in pages and squeeze pages back in like the early 2000s, late 90s, right? So he spent enough time in the trenches to where he actually had the goods. Like you do teach this, right? Like for you to teach someone how to grow a landscape business, a window washing business, right? Like the actual nuts and bolts of what you do. The reason you're good at teaching people how to do that is because you've done the work for years and years and years. There's so many people in the internet marketing world who like, they'll watch my videos and be like, oh, I get it. Cool. I'm gonna go drop a Facebook ads course. Miles taught me how to do Facebook ads. I get it. I'm gonna go teach people how to do Facebook ads. And there's a lot of people running around selling how to make money with Facebook ads courses who've never actually run Facebook ads before. And that's where it gets a little thinned out. And like, I don't know, that was a little tangent, but the first domino, right? Like reverse engineering, what is that first thing you knock over to make sure that everything else happens is key. For me, I call it throwing your hat over the fence. I think I might've got that from Eben Pagan. Sometimes you got to throw your hat over the fence and commit. And then I committed to doing a 90-day challenge on YouTube. I had never actually found my voice as a content creator. I was at a personal development seminar with Kyle Cease, his Evolve Out Loud 2-day seminar. I highly recommend it.
Bro, wait, you put me on to him too, Kyle Cease. You said his name. And I
Gangster.
went looking up, dude. I watched like 40 of that dude's videos. I even did an exercise where I wrote down like pages of my life and the things that I want to have
Perfect.
happen.
So,
And
and he's a comedian who transitioned from comedy into like transformational comedy. And at the end of that seminar, he was like, it's just this idea of like, you have something special in you. You have to get out to the world. And at 2 days, I'm sitting there with my wife and we're doing lunch and breakfast and whatnot. I'm like, I got to teach this internet marketing stuff because I see so many people teaching, regurgitated ideas, outdated ideas, flat out wrong stuff. They're selling courses that have literally things that if you implement them, it will hinder or harm your site and your success. And I'm like, I have to get this out. So I committed to doing a 90-day challenge. He made me, I had to write down how much money I was willing to let him donate to the cause of his choice if I didn't follow through on my 90-day seminar. And he was like, I'm going to find what politician you hate. And that's who I'm going to donate your money to. So I had $1,000 on the line. My hat was over the fence. I was like, whatever, I'm going to do a video a day for 90 days. Every day for 90 days, I published a video. And I think what you were talking about, that productivity, that creator muscle, like I flexed it enough to now I'm addicted to the process of creating value, the value muscle. That's what you're talking about. Like now I'm like, addicted to creating content. I ended up doing 120 videos in 120 days. Now that I'm 20 months in, I've done like 350 videos in 20 months. Still doing 3 videos a week right now, but it's just this aggressive pace. And I'm just like, there's plenty for me to teach. There's plenty people need help with.
This brings me to something. Okay, so Miles here is saying that it's obvious he's a machine. If you do this for too long and you don't structure it in, you could phase a burnout and end up laying in bed with bags under your eyes. So, and you do hiking. So if somebody's building their business and they're implementing marketing and they're learning how to become a self-taught marketer and become a master so they can control and, scale their business, what do you do to offset that by completely unplugging, like your hiking and stuff like that?
Totally. And like, honestly, at first I didn't unplug much. I was like, I had $50,000 in student loan debt. I'm not trained in any sort of design or development through college at all. I kind of like wiggled my way through college over 6 years and 4 schools and got a degree that didn't mean anything other than I owed $50,000 to the student loans. So like I had no choice and I was working like 12, 14, 16-hour days. I had a day job and I worked nights. So like my walks were like my break at work. I'd walk around the building twice, right? For that 15-minute break type thing. Now that I'm in position to take more control of my lifestyle because I've got my finances in a situation where I have the location and time independence, which is the most valuable thing for me. I do hike multiple times every day. I usually go for a 2-mile hike in the morning. I live in a very small town in northern Arizona, like 10,000 people around. So I've got a 2-mile loop out my door. Like 2 days ago, I think I hiked like 8 miles. Yesterday, I hiked like 6.5 miles or so. So that's one thing that I do every day, multiple times a day, because it just clears my head. You need those rest periods. You need to get away. I also meditate every day, probably for about 30 to 45 minutes every day, at least once. That's usually in the afternoon when I'm starting to feel tired, feel sluggish. I'll go meditate and kind of recharge instead of doing like that 2 o'clock cup of coffee. And that's what works for me. For some people, hitting the gym, right? Like
so you like honor the ultradian rhythm.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Okay. Like my goal is to have 3 or 4 very productive, shortish periods throughout my day. So I usually will get like 3 or 4, right now it's about 3 or 4, 2-hour, hour and a half, 2-hour periods throughout my day that I'm hyper productive. And then I do a lot of reading. I consume content. I'm starting to do a little more gardening and trying to do like tangible things. I got a Jeep that I fiddle with and work with and like trying to just do more hands-on things. So I'm not always like click, 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 click. But there for a long time I was, because I didn't really have a choice, like I was broke. I knew where I was going. I knew that hustle was the path. So like 16 hours plus a day, every day, like cool. If that's what it takes. I was at that whatever it takes point for a long time. And I mean, I paid off $50,000 of student loans in like a year and a half once things aligned, and it was like done.
Bro.
Next. And then it was like stack cash, boom, let's buy a house, boom, stack cash. I'm looking for a ranch this year, right? Like literally, like once you get in alignment with things and you're really contributing a lot of value to a lot of people, the internet gives us all access to leverage, which is really amazing.
When you were talking, I have visions. I had a vision, and I'm going to tell you after this. I just mental note, and I really think and hope it would create a lot of value for you. It's just something that I had insight into, and it's powerful for you. But also back on the script with all this, that threw me off. Oh yeah. So one mistake that I made is way too deep into my videos, me talking too much about my experience, my journey, and how I feel about the process. And even though that's helped a lot of people, and
Right.
1/3 like you, 1/3 hate you, 1/3 don't care. I noticed that you are super others focused. You're super focused on creating value. You don't talk about much about yourself unless it is
A
building
very
your brand
pertinent story.
story. Yeah,
Yep.
and using it as a seed to create value to help them get transformation. So,
Right.
um, are you naturally like that, and how long did it take you? Because the reason I'm bringing this up is because for those of guys who want actual physical service businesses or product businesses, or maybe they're going out cleaning people's windows or landscaping or whatever, and they're creating a value, whether they're talking to the customer in person, keep it revolving around the customer value for them, or they're creating an ad on Facebook or maybe on their website, so their customers want to trust them immediately when they read the website, and so they
Right.
buy. How did you get to that point to make the transition over the fence where you just totally get it that it's not about you, it's about the customers, and how does that work and flow?
Yeah, it's studying psychology. Marketing and human psychology are interwoven, and great copywriting and human psychology are super interwoven. And when you understand like how the human brain works, like you can then understand how to help other human brains have the aha moments they need to understand what you want to communicate with them, right? Like no one likes being told what to do, but we all like having those moments of like, oh, that's what I need to do. And then you're fired up and you're ready to do it. But if someone else just is like, this is how you do it, you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Right. Like we naturally resist things unless it was our idea first. So just kind of observing that's how the world works. Like Zig Ziglar called it, like everyone's tuned into WIIFM. What's in it for me? I heard that at a very young age, and I've really kept that because I was on radio in college. So like WIIFM, like it's easy to remember what's in it for me. And every human is literally walking around, what's in this for me? And if you present your content about me, and not you, it's going to mismatch. So imagine you're a guy and you're at a bar and you're interested in like talking to a girl, and you go up to that girl and you're like, hey, what's up? So I'm pretty cool. Let me tell you about myself. I surf, I got a truck, I do this, like I'm really cool. And you do nothing but talk about yourself for 4 minutes. This chick is gonna be like, dude, you're the worst ever. And she's going to bail, right? Like, but if you take another approach where you go up and you're like, hey, how are you? Are you from here? What's life like? What do you like to do? What are the fun things you like to do in life? And you ask questions and you really get them. Like once it becomes a conversation, not somebody talking about themselves in the presence of the other, that's where relationships can form. And digitally, most people don't get this. Like all we're trying to do digitally is build relationships, right? Like my goal is always focused on how do I build a relationship? How do I further my relationship with my audience? Well, my audience happens to be internet marketers or people trying to learn internet marketing. So if I can help them achieve their goals, if I can help them implement something, learn a new tactic, and actually do it, and then get results, they like me more. So I need to talk about them, their situation, where they're at, what their goals are, why their approach isn't working, what approach can work, and then encourage them to kind of get over the hump and get moving and get going. And once they start taking action and they see that it actually works, boom, like the know, like, trust, that trusted advisor thing all happens from there. And it's just, I really think that the aha came to me through studying copywriting and understanding like copywriting is essentially salesmanship in print. I study a lot of the old books. John Caples is an author. His 4th edition of Scientific Advertising, not the 5th edition. Ads That Sell is another of his book. Eugene Schwartz has Breakthrough Advertising. So all these books from like the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, when they used to mail envelopes to people with marketing messages in them. And how do you get somebody
Yeah,
to
when
open an envelope?
real dollars were on the line.
Yeah. And my Facebook ads cost me real dollars. I spent over $150,000 in Facebook ads. So there's real dollars there, but it's different. And the feedback loop was slower. I feel like it was more challenging for them. So I feel like they were more meticulous, tracking, measuring, seeing what works. So like really studying the greats. Victor Schwab, How to Write a Good Advertisement, I think it was written in 1944. I've read that book 5 or 6 times. All the way back to like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I think he covers a lot of the core ideas in that book, which was, I think, written in like 1925. If you want to go way back, Wallace Wattles' Science of Getting Rich in the 1890s is a really interesting book. You can get that one free in PDF. And they're all kind of talking about the same stuff from different directions. And then when you sprinkle in the spiritual laws of like the law of reciprocity, the law of attraction, like I've seen it work so clearly and so well in my brand. That's why my brand has grown so quickly, is because I've applied those kinds of laws. That's what Napoleon Hill talks about too. Just once you see it working over and over, and you notice those who aren't successful are taking the opposite approach. They're talking about themselves. They just don't understand how to communicate in a way that draws the user, the reader, the viewer in.
Okay, so what about the the kind of the guru or anti-guru effect. Can you speak to if someone's guy, I'm not an expert at this. Who am I? Are people going to think I'm a douchebag, or I'm
Yeah.
not the top or service business? Why
Right.
should I act like I'm the, so how can somebody kind of
Yeah.
liaison?
And I think the fake it till you make it idea is kind of annoying, and I don't think that works anymore. We're also hyper connected. We have access to each other's social media. Like I can go cyber stalk you. I can see if you're actually a D-bag or not, right? Like it's not difficult to find that and to really kind of like suss people out in this digital age, which is a good thing. But every human being on this planet can help another person with something. Like that's a truth. Like that, you can't argue with that. You can't say I can't. And it might be, you might know a video game so well that you could help other people trying to learn this video game. I don't play video game. I play a make money online video game. But like, you might know like how to play some Xbox game so well that you could actually help people through recording it and putting it on Twitch or through live streaming your gameplay and talking about like, okay, cool. So you see here, when this guy comes here, you jump over here, you bounce off that, you hit this, and then you're through this point that everybody gets hung up on, right? So like every human being, like, my mom could probably help people with gardening, right? Like there's like, it doesn't have to be big, bold business making things. Like people have hobbies, so you might be able to help people learn how to put together and build their own drones and fly their own drones for fun, right? You might be able to help people learn how to like do therapy with autistic kids and horses. Like it could be anything, but every human has something they can help others with. And when you tap into that and you try to like cultivate that and you decide that you're going to share that unique thing with the world, like you're not trying to be like, the word guru comes from other people. Right. I will never call myself that word. People call me that word in my comments and stuff all the time. And it's like, okay, if that's what it is to you, like that's fine. But I'm just trying to be helpful. Like my mission on earth is to be the most helpful internet marketer in the world. So what am I going to do that? I'm gonna put out a ton of more valuable content than anyone else. I can control the effort side. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep going at it like as if it's my mission in life, because it is the self-proclaimed mission.
One quick second. You're really tapping into, and I want to just back up a little bit and shine a spotlight on this whole passion-driven side hustle thing. That is just this huge explosion. I know that I took my passion of my breakthroughs of starting a landscaping and window cleaning business, going from flat broke with eviction notices and in debt and all that. And like today, I looked at my credit score. It's like a 737, dog.
Dope. Dope. That's buying a house. That's like, that's bank saying, yep, you want money? Sure. Here you go. You want to expand yep, here you go.
But looking back from then, I said, wow, what can I talk about? Something that I'm passionate about, that I'm not a guru at, and how can I turn it into something that actually monetizes and makes income? And I've been able to, thankfully, into my help, thousands and thousands of startup landscapers and stuff like that. So that's that whole side hustle thing.
So real quick, now, my wife and I were flat broke when we started our website. That is still the core of our business. Like literally to the point where I sold both cars. I was all in on this network marketing business. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. Sold car A for cash to keep afloat, to keep going, reinvesting in it. Sold car B. Then we were flat broke. And like I couldn't even afford the monthly auto ship. Couldn't get anybody on it. So we had to move back into my parents at the age of like 30 something. Like my parents lived in a very small house. I grew up working class poor, and then hit that point. And from that was the springboard and the passion and the disgust of like that built this almost rage to work 18 hours, 16 hours a day, whatever I had to do to get out of that point. And I'm still riding that wave. But like, so Joe Polish, I'm guessing you're familiar with Joe Polish.
Hell yeah.
Right, cool. So Joe Polish, like he was a struggling carpet cleaner trying to figure out how to make money, right? Then he learned Dan Kennedy's marketing stuff. He's like, cool. Oh, I could apply this direct response marketing to my carpet cleaning business. And then he realized, wow, I could take the marketing stuff I'm using that grew my business to $1 million business and sell it to other carpet cleaners around the country. And now he runs something called the Genius Network, where he brings in some of the smartest. You have to be doing, I think, $3 to $5 million a year in order to even be considered to go to the Genius Network event. And here's a little tidbit. They have a pretty good podcast and YouTube channel with a lot of the older content for free on YouTube. It's really good content that comes out of the Genius Network. People like Richard Branson and like Brendan Burchard, like he talks about how he's doing his marketing. He's not just trying to sell you shit like Brendan Burchard seems to do. But like hearing the back end of his business is really powerful. So like, I think when people realize that is the approach that every great business has taken, like we all started with nothing. We all started with like an idea or two. We all are on our third, fourth, or fifth idea that finally apparently something clicked here. And then we just grew it through the course of time enough to where we were able to start teaching other people, not just the craft, but also like the how-to behind the craft, the marketing behind the craft, and the other things. It's just the learning curve of life. And the big kicker most people don't get is like, so they look, oh man, this Miles Beckler guy, he's an overnight success, right? Somebody might hear about my channel and be like, oh wow, Miles Beckler, in 18 months, 20 months, he grew a 50,000 subscriber YouTube channel. But don't forget that I made my first money online in 2003. 15 years ago, I got my first check in the mail from an online-based business, right? Like I went full-time online, 100% of my time full-time in 2010. So I've been doing online internet marketing full-time, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, full-time for 6.5 years before I ever put out one video to teach somebody how to do something. 6.5 years of grinding, 15 years of behind the scenes figuring out how to work this. Built my first websites in 1999. Right? Like literally, but most people will see me now and be like, whoa, this dude, he just exploded on the scene. Yeah, kind of. But if you rewind far enough and you look at it through the right lens, I've been hustling my ass off with this since the late 90s. Here it is 2018, about 20 years of experience.
That's that you're tapping into that now. See, the way I perceive it is when something externally isn't going right, and you're hustling your ass off because you said you've been doing this for years, right? And people look at you now and be like, oh, he's so successful. So when it doesn't work, we'll make identity meaning and start thinking, oh, there's something wrong with us. How come it's not working fast enough? Because all the shit that we see on social media, we get frustrated. So yeah, that the whole long-term game and you showing that makes a lot of sense, dude.
And for a lot of people, shutting off the noise, turning down the noise, unfollowing anybody on Instagram who's just trying to sell you shit, unsubscribe from every single list that you're subscribed to who is not offering you value. If they send you a pitch, unsubscribe the moment they send you a pitch. You don't need their courses. What you need to do is become a content creator. You need to give valuable content that will be helpful to an audience of people. And you need to literally go forth in your life being of service at scale to an audience of people. That's all you need to do. I consume such small amounts of content. It's actually kind of crazy. Like I don't listen to podcasts. I watch very few YouTube videos. I sign up for very, very, very few paid courses at this point because I'm all in on creating, not consuming. I read some books here and there because I think books you get a lot better content for a lot cheaper than a lot of the expensive courses. But really, like it's just so much more about creating. And most people are consuming, and they're consuming the email pitches they get. And they're like, oh, that's shiny. Oh, FBA, that's where I could go make money. And they go do that for a bit. And they're like, oh, drop shipping, I can make money doing that. And then they're like, oh, I can make money with YouTube marketing. And they just jump from one thing to the other. They don't put in the 3 years of being of service to an audience at scale, so they never get anywhere. And the shortcut is actually to do one thing for 3 years straight.
Oh my God. I was on a call with Jeff Johnson, like famous internet marketer. And one huge takeaway, he said his team will look at a business and they'll be like, well, we can make 20 grand off this. And he's like, I don't want it. It's not enough because it doesn't support the lifestyle that I want. Like basically he won't even consider getting into a business unless it supports his long-term lifestyle. So he's not jumping all over the board. And it's one thing I hear that you're talking about and I see you implementing and practicing is like you just have a few channels that you're really dialed into and everything else is totally cut off.
Yep. So I've got this one. It's a done for you service in kind of helping create funnels for people. And I've been building it out with this guy. And it's a service that we could productize and pretty smooth path for the business to generate about $95,000 a month. I think I'm going to pass on it at this point. I'm going to set him up. I'm going to let him run with it. I don't want a piece of it. It's going to be a distraction for me for my big long-term goal. And that's where having like a vision and having really kind of so my vision for myself is to be the most helpful internet marketer in the world. So I run everything through that vision. Is that what the most helpful internet marketer in the world would do? Yes or no? If it's no, then that. And I see going down that path with him could generate money. It could be financially beneficial for me, but it's not going to help me down the path of being the most helpful internet marketer in the world. So I'm arranging it. I'm going to set him up. I'm just going to let him run with it. And I'm like, dude, I don't need a piece of that pie. I'm going to help. I'm still going to be involved a little bit. Once we get through phase one of him testing it and him running with it on his own, we'll talk about partnering and scaling it from there. But there's just too much required at this point for me to distract myself from my audience. It might be of service to 1/10 or 1/30 of my audience, but that I can't do that. I can't shift my focus right now because my focus and my time, that's the time is the ultimate commodity that we all have, right? That's the clock that's ticking. We can't get more time.
So this is marketing and this is business and this goes hand in hand. It's almost like, say some people feel like they're stranded on an island and all there is pineapples and coconuts, and that's what they have to settle for. And they kind of get good at that versus what you're talking about. It sounds like this whole, you see that we're in an ocean of abundance. There's all these choices, and you can really hone in and create a lot of success out of the thing that aligns with your core values. How did you make that transition from going broke and, back in the day and to now really, really seeing that you have this
Super
opportunity
simple.
overwhelmed that you have to sort through?
Right. The easiest way to put it is to build an email list, right? Like when you have an email list of people, not just an audience on YouTube, like an actual email list that you own that list, and I can send out marketing promotions every single day to my list, and this group of people on my list, they know me, they like me, and they trust me. That is like the ultimate opportunity moment, because I could go sell lots of just about anything right now, but I have to honor the fact that if I pitch them too much, they're going to unsubscribe. I have to honor the fact that they're already being bombarded with marketing messaging, that they've bought so many things that haven't worked for them before, that they're literally yearning for somebody to actually be helpful and not just sell them shit. So I've declared that that's my role in here. I'll let Russell Brunson pitch them to death, trying to convince them to cash out their 401ks to buy his $20,000 coaching program. Like, I'll let other people take the sleazy approach, and I'll just take my consistent approach of being as helpful as I possibly can and really caring for their needs. That builds the relationship that once I have that moment of, here's an opportunity, this might fit, how is it going to work? Boom. It lines up and it goes. And for my wife, she's got a list. I mean, her list is like 100,000+ subscribers. So it's just magnified. My list is only like 4,500 subscribers right now, but these people are hyper responsive. And you can do a lot with small lists. And that's what I didn't have right in my first businesses. I didn't build a list when I was making money online in 2003. I was direct linking people from MySpace to affiliate offers. I was making money in between, but all of a sudden MySpace turned off my offers and turned off my links, and they changed their terms of service because they got bought out by Rupert Murdoch from Fox News. And so my entire money-making scheme disappeared overnight, and I had no list to fall back on. But once you have that list and you have the attention, Gary Vaynerchuk, right? When you have the attention of a group of people who know you, like you, and trust you, you're their trusted advisor. That's a Jay Abraham idea. At that point, you hold all of the opportunity, but you need to honor that, because if you go about it in a sleazy manner and you just pitch, they're going to unsubscribe. You're going to burn your relationship. Just as if you had a friend who was always asking you for something. Hey, can I borrow $20? Hey, can I borrow your truck? Hey, man, can you help me move? Hey, man, you'd be like, all right, I'm about to block this dude's calls, because there ain't no reciprocity going on here, right? So
as kind of a case study, and we got so much value, we're going to wrap up here within the next 9-10 minutes. This has been huge. I want you guys to listen and then look at it through the lens that I'm seeing it at what Miles is doing. He's clarifying, re-clarifying, peeling away the bullshit, and then separating himself or his brand or his mission away from all, and getting himself out of the gray area. So you say, this is exactly what Miles or his mission or his value is about, and it's not like this other stuff. Can you talk a little bit about that so people can learn how to implement that themselves into their businesses and marketing to really cut through the noise?
Totally. There's an old course. It was a $97 course. It's free now. It's called the One Sentence Persuasion course. If you Google it, are you familiar?
No, it's just, I love how you're
Yeah, so it's free. Like if you Google the One Sentence Persuasion course, there's a PDF that shows up at the first one, and the dude stopped selling it, so it's like legally free. But you might have to put .pdf in the search phrase. And it's just one sentence, and I don't know it off the top of my head. I could grab it probably in 14 seconds and read it to you, but it nails everything. When you're there helping kind of root for people, helping them realize that it's not their fault, when you help them throw rocks at their enemy, like it just ticks all these boxes. And when you do that for a group of people, you become their champion. You become someone they're like, I'm hitching my trailer to that dude because he's going somewhere, and I agree with that vision that they're laying out, and they are going to hitch their trailer to your vision.
But you could use this stuff for good, or you could use
100%. Like all marketing, direct response, all this stuff, persuasion can be used for good and for the not so good side of things. But you have one reputation. It takes a lifetime to build it. It takes one stupid move to burn it. One stupid move to burn it. I have seen so many internet marketers in my years go up to millions of dollars. I ain't never heard from them again. Declaring bankruptcy. You know how common bankruptcy is with internet marketers? It's absolutely crazy. It's actually relatively easy to make money. It's actually kind of difficult to hang on to money and to not do dumb shit with it and lose it, like stupid investments, buying Lambos, all that kind of, putting your money into depreciating liabilities instead of assets, blah, blah, blah. A lot of Kiyosaki stuff. It sounds like you get Kiyosaki's bit. Most people don't get that. They learn how to make money. They think they're a mint. All of a sudden, they burn their reputation. They can't do another $1 million launch. They're only making 60 grand off their $1 million launches, which is a truth that most people don't understand. Most of these big time launches who brag about how much their money they're making less than like 2 to 5% of that because of all of the ads and all of the people in place. So you hear about the revenue number, not the profit numbers. But once you get that, it's a big aha moment.
Wow.
I'm gonna see if I can find that one sentence persuasion. I believe it's literally. Just open right to it. You ready for this?
Yeah.
People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Like, so that there's such truth in that. Now, I recommend still go to Google and search for the 1-sentence persuasion course, PDF, because it's actually like a 10-page book, because he explains why it's like, you can't just read the sentence and get it. You got to understand why every word in that sentence, what it all means. And when you get that, you have the idea of how to create like a mission statement and a vision that you become the champion of that vision. And that's what everybody else can plug into. My vision for internet marketers is you don't need money. You don't need all the BS. You don't need all these expensive courses. You can go create value in the lives of others. You can help a group of people at scale. You can be of service to them. You can help them solve their problems. And that can create the lifestyle business that will afford you the life of your dreams. Like literally.
Everything that we segued into this, and I want to wrap up with this because this is very powerful. So once somebody starts really learning how to implement and master marketing into their business, they know how to pull certain levers to make money come in, increase their lifestyle, they're saving money. I remember on one video on your YouTube channel, Miles Beckler, where you talked about how you were doing the smart thing, and you started, paying off college debt and saving money and having a strategic plan with your wife to do things very smart and cautiously and carefully. And it almost sounds like I don't know if it's an element of fear or something you have inside you, like, whoa. I am not making that mistake. How did you get this level of clarity? And can you talk a little bit about playing that game?
Totally. So, like I said, I grew up in a working class, poor family, right? So blue collar, but definitely kind of like poor, lower middle class, kind of a rich school. And when I left my home state and went to finish up college, borrowing everything, I was like, what did other families do? Because there's so many other families who've created wealth, and like my family just never got there. Like, what did they do? So I started to study, right? Like I studied what the successful people have done. And that's where I found the Napoleon Hills, the Think and Grow Rich book, right? I found Robert Kiyosaki and the Cash Flow Quadrant and the Rich Dad, Poor Dad idea. One really, really impacting book, I think, was The Millionaire Next Door. And like our world has... like our world has such a messed up visual perception of what wealth is. People think that those families that live in that neighborhood that have a 3,000 square foot McMansion with 2 BMWs and a boat in front of it, people think that's wealth. The truth is those people are strapped for cash. They're flat broke. They're living on a treadmill that is going faster and faster. And they are probably the closest segment to burnout. They might be making $330,000 a year, but they're probably spending $326,000. They end net with $6,000 at the end of the year because they're on this effing treadmill. And to me, that just repulses me. That idea just repulses me. So it's like, what does the other side do? And I've been studying wealth creation, the idea of an asset versus a liability. I don't think most people even understand, like when you buy an owner-occupied home, that's a liability. That's not an asset. Like it's actually not an investment. It's not. Like that's just the truth. But like, there's other ways when if you buy a fourplex and you live in one of them and you rent out 3 of them, in that situation, you now have an asset because other people can be paying. Like it's just understanding like the truth of how wealth is created. That's been a big part of what I do. That's kind of where I'm at in my evolution as an entrepreneur. What I study in my free time is wealth creation, wealth management, and ideas like this, and how to set up foundations and how to use foundations to kind of create more positive change in the world. And
dude,
while minimizing my taxes. So like remove money from government for taxes and put it into a foundation that I control where that money goes. I get a tax break. I get to help the world all at the same time. Like that's the kind of shit I'm into, because that's just like a win-win to me.
Dude, and tax strategy. Okay.
Yep.
Man, when you talk, you'll drop all these value bombs, and I'm like, well, what? And then you'll drop another one. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm trying to get back to, there's something that you said that I wanted to end with now.
Underline.
Dude, it was value tags you were talking about.
Oh, I just ran right over it.
Creating,
Assets, liabilities.
Stop it. You're creating. Oh yeah. This is it. People aren't afraid. It's not that they can't pull the trigger and just fucking go for it and what they want to do. It's they're afraid of their power when they do, and that they're afraid if they're running full speed, will the blinders go up and they start making mistakes? Will their ego get in the way? Will they get themselves into big trouble or pull a string that'll release so much responsibility that they're not going to be able to handle it and let other people down or fail? You seem to have to found a sweet spot where you're full out going for it while being cautious. Is that something, a momentum that you've built up over time, or is it like a moment by moment clarity? You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
How can you crush it while maintaining that level of caution? Like you've got the bumpers up,
Yeah,
and you can go full speed. Can you talk a little bit about that? And that's where we went.
totally. Intuition plays a lot into it. I've really worked to kind of harness my gut instinct. I listen to my gut instinct blindly. It's led me in positive directions. I've listened to things that I thought were my gut instinct, but weren't, and that led me in other directions. And really, like, that's part of where my meditation time and my hiking time comes in, right? I have all these ideas. I'm taking action. I'm moving forward. I'm growing the audience. And then it's like, what do I do? And when I'm out there, I let go of things. And that's when I have my inspired ideas. And I try to listen to my inspired ideas.
I'm not cutting you off. Just so making time to meditate and go hiking and take that time so you can look back at it. Because if you just get lost, you can just go off in the weeds.
So it's literally learning how to quiet this voice so you can hear this voice. Right. You get, like, the ego mind is loud and your heart is quiet. And in your heart, the truth of what you are here on earth to bring out, that's where it lives. But what we get is up here, like, I don't have enough. I'm not good enough. They have this, the Beamer, that, I don't have this. I don't have enough. Oh my God, this radio commercial told me I need to go buy a new car, and like, I'm never going to get it. And then when you learn to quiet this and listen to this, and it's like, I really love horses. Like, horses are my bit. Like, if I can just spend life with my horses, like, that's it. And when you start to follow that, the path just appears. And on that note, I got a homegirl and a buddy in New Zealand. They're teaching fitness for dressage riding, which is a type of horseback riding. Super, super small, obscure niche. She loves horses. He was a pro rugby player. She was a fitness instructor. They are absolutely crushing it teaching dressage riders fitness. Super small niche, super obscure little niche. I mean, they've built $1 million mansion on the back of their internet business. They are living the life of their dreams, being of service to people who want to ride their horses more, helping them realize that fitness is a path to that. So, like, when I use these obscure references, like, I have actual friends making millions of dollars being of service to these kinds of audiences, and it all happened because they listen to their heart. I mean, my wife and I, like, channeled angel meditations. Like most people are like, what is that? And some people are like, that's evil, right? Like, we are so like, it's so different. But there's a group of people who love, but there's a group of people who love it. They see it as a form of prophecy. They see it as a form of, like, they get really positive experiences out of it. And we are just unwaveringly of service to that audience. Still, my wife could transition. My wife could be on stage teaching email marketing. My wife could become a marketing guru in her own right. She is an absolute gangster with it. She will not even consider it, because her goal in life right now is to be of service to that group of people who love those messages and who want to live a more spiritually fulfilled life, and who her messages are literally helping improve their lives. And she's all in on that audience, and that's it. And that's the key to it all.
Oh. So when you you really, really stick with your thing long time versus,
10 years is where momentum happens. 3 years, you're going to start to see the signs of momentum. And my wife and I haven't been running that main business for 10 years. And I can tell you right now that everything we're doing in that business, all the automations, all the little integrations, the new products we're putting out, everything is magnified at a level that is amazing to me. And I've been in this industry, right? Like, I've already made $1 million in this industry, and I'm still really surprised at how much it's compounding. It's the power of compounding effort. It's just like the power of compounding interest, the power of compounding effort. All those blog posts my wife did in 2010 and 2011, and those early subscribers and the members we've had paying for our membership since 2004 who are still with us today, like, everything's compounding. So now when we add on, we're still doing just a little bit of work every day, right? A little bit of work, but boom, it has massive effects because all of our efforts over the last 8 years are compounding, which is why my channel is still growing. All my early videos, they keep growing little by little. My early Facebook videos that I did 12, 13, 14 months ago are still bringing in thousands of views every month. And now my new videos are bringing in thousands of views. And my channel is actually growing at an exponential rate because my old stuff's still attracting people, my new stuff's attracting people, and everything I do now just gets compounding results from the same amount of effort. But really 3 years, I think anyone can start to see the money showing up, the business. You kind of get to that point where you're like, man, I might be able to go full time with this. And then at that 10-year mark is when you're like, yo, I just had $1 million launch. Like, wow, like those kinds of things. And obviously it's not guaranteed, but like when you do something for 10 years straight, like you really gain a level of mastery with it, and you get the value of that compounding effort over time. And most people don't have the stick-to-itiveness. Most people, they expect to get results in 3 months. They expect to get results in 4 months. They do it for 3-4 months. They look at the results like, this doesn't work. So they go try something else, and they're right, it didn't work. But if they would have stuck with it for 3 years, they might have actually seen positive results.
Stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah, there you go. Fancy words. $5 words coming out.
I could keep going. Do you want to stop, or do you want me to bring up a couple more things? Do you want
whatever you want, man? I mean, I got 15 more minutes if you want it.
Okay.
I'm easy.
I'll say one more thing. I was watching this. Anybody here that has not gone on a Dan Kennedy binge, it'd be worth your time. Just, spend a couple days kind of just getting that absorbed. If you haven't already dive deep into the stuff and you're not in a level of execution and you're still trying to kind of find your path. He said something, he said, be very careful and conscious about what doors you open up and what Pandora's boxes, because you might not be able to close them when you're publicly, going in directions or what you're sharing. And so I'm sure you've thought out all that stuff out. And so if somebody is either growing their business online or their service business, can you kind of add to that about how to stay on the path? Because a lot of people will be like, should I start talking about this or should I not?
So my wife deals with that a lot, right? So she's in this kind of sub niche of the spirituality world. And like, at what point is it okay to talk about certain things? And some people in the spirituality world during the last election cycle, like they were getting political. They were dropping their political commentary of he so, she so, blah, blah, blah. Cause like, obviously that got up to a boiling point for most people, most American citizens, at least. She consciously was like, I can't talk about that. That's too polarizing, right? Like, I don't care what their beliefs are. I gotta stay true to my message. And I think it's important for everyone to have a vision, or like maybe a mission statement's a better idea than a vision, right? Like, and you can use that one sentence persuasion course to kind of write out your own mission statement, and then you just run things through that mission statement. So for me, like Miles Beckler is the most helpful internet marketer in the world. Right? Just as I deemed myself, I'm just going to start teaching this stuff, right? I chose myself there. Why not choose a name for myself? So I'll choose that. I'll use that as we'll call it my working title for now, but I run every opportunity through that. Is that a part of this? And when it's like, hey, Miles, will you go speak at this event? I'm like, okay, would the most helpful internet marketer in the world do that? And I've recently, so I went to Bali last year speaking, and a real world example. Here's a quick story. So I went to Bali for a speaking gig. I just was in Europe for some speaking gigs, and I'm realizing at these gigs, like I love it. I'm kind of a ham. I like the attention and being on stage is fun, but I'm actually not as helpful as I could be if I was here at home in my studio. And I've had this realization that actually not flying across the world and doing all this fancy stuff and the really cool looking Instagram pictures of, yeah, I'm in Bali, bro, check it out. Like if I just take the egotistical side of it out and I think about my audience and I think about my vision of being the most helpful internet marketer of the world, what is of more value? Staying at home for those 2 weeks and putting out my 6 videos, my 14 emails, and being on point with my quality and with my content, or flying across the world, getting jet lag, slipping up on an email or two, speaking in front of 500 people. Man, I'm reaching tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people with my content right now. So I'm neglecting 98+% of people because Miles wants to go travel to Bali and talk on stage. Now, that's the kind of filter. And how do I have that moment of, is this in the highest interest of my brand or not? It's because I run it through that filter. but I made that filter up, right? I made that vision statement up. I came up with it. I'm like, that is a mission worth going for in this life. If I have that YouTube body of workout and something happens to me and that lives on forever beyond me, cool. Hashtag legacy, bitches, what you got, right? Like that's where I'm after. It ain't about how many commas or zeros are in a bank account or 2 comma club this or that. Like none of that matters to me because that all disappears once the game's over. But that legacy we live, and that's it. So you really need to create a vision for yourself, create a mission statement for yourself, and then you can run things through it. It becomes your filter. Like, does that work? Oh, that's not at odds with that. Like, should I put a post about why Hillary and Trump are blah, blah, blah? Run it through the filter. That has nothing to do with being the most helpful internet marketer in the world. Now, if I take a little approach and look at that election cycle of like something really smart that someone did about being always in the media because they're always saying stupid shit and all the attention they're getting. And right, if I speak about that from a marketing standpoint, it could make sense. But if I'm just flat out like getting my opinion out there just because I feel like I need to share my opinion on something that nobody effing cares about, that's where it's wrong. And you have to have a filter of some sort. And that's what I think that's what a great mission statement does, is it acts as that filter for you. Or you can call it a vision, or there's all kinds of things you call it. But that's kind of the bit.
Awesome. And then once somebody has their whole, we're actually on Instagram Live right now. Miles
what up,
Beckler.
Insta? At Miles Beckler. Holler at your boy.
At Miles Beckler. At Miles Beckler. This guy's awesome. And this will be out on my podcast later anyways. I thought I'd turn it on because
cool.
They're tuning in. So once you've got your mission statement, your purpose all figured out, and you're building all this content and it's working, you're building an organic base, and you decide, you know what? I want to add some scale this up with ads and start touching different audiences because you're clear now, and right. They start tapping into ads. Can you talk a little bit about how that data comes in, how I know this is a massive topic.
No, but it is sum upable.
Yeah.
So I've got this new analogy I've been working that I love, and like paid advertising, Facebook ads is really hot right now. I do a lot of Facebook ads, spent 150 grand on the platform myself, generated almost 200,000 leads with Facebook ads. So it works, and I'm a practitioner of it for sure. Facebook advertising is like gasoline, right? In order to get gasoline to combust, you need a spark or a fire. That is a conversion mechanism. So if you have a pile of sticks on the ground and you throw gasoline on it, nothing's going to happen. It will just be a smelly pile of sticks. But if you have a spark or a small fire and you pour gasoline on it, it will absolutely explode with more flames, right? Fuel on the fire idea. So the first trick before you run ads is you have to have an offer that converts. Now you could test your offers, but you really need to know that and it starts with an opt-in page. Free secret review or free report reveals the secret to blank, and blank is solving their biggest problem, right? And do 30 or 40% of people who see that page give you their email address in exchange for that free thing, the free PDF or video course or whatever it is you're giving them. That's the first step. And then are you actually selling these people something later in the relationship on the list? Do you have an affiliate product or your own product? And are you seeing that sales are already coming in? If you have not proven that you're able to convert a lead and you're able to convert a sale, ads aren't going to help. Ads are going to be a drain of your money. It won't be an investment. It will be flushing your money down the toilet. So that's the trick, is to come up with an offer that converts. And Dan Kennedy, you mentioned it, right? Like magnetic marketing is a great course of his if you can find it on eBay. But his Ultimate Sales Letter book, which is just a $10 book, is a great book to read to get the basics of how to create an offer that converts. Because once you have that offer that converts, traffic's easy. Right? Once you have that offer and you know statistically with math, that math thing that this percentage of people will always buy, then you can just keep, if your traffic's the right numbers, you just monitor 2 numbers. What's my cost per lead? What's my cost per acquisition? And you can pour as much traffic or fuel onto that fire or conversion mechanism as you possibly can. And that's how you're able to scale. But for me, I like to go audience growth first. So I've been doing this YouTube thing like crazy. I have answered almost every single comment that's ever happened on my channel. I've probably answered over 10,000 separate comments. I do this because I'm learning about the problems, about the goals, about the sticking points of my audience. So now I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this product solves all these problems, because people are hitting me with their problems in the comments and I'm like, this thing is the solution. So then the audience, the messaging is all dialed in and I'm able to convert. Now that I see that this group of people like this thing, I could then go start buying traffic and get my messaging in front of that group of people. But I got there through hard work and content. And we started that way because we had no money. We were flat broke, like I was saying, living with my parents. But now I just replicate that because I prefer organic traffic. I like traffic that I can build. I'm going to ride this wave of traffic from the Miles Beckler brand until I'm 80, dog, like 90, literally. It will be paying for me and my old self and what I want to do at that phase of my life. If it's traveling the world on an 88-foot catamaran yacht, that might happen. It might not, because I kind of get seasick sometimes. So that vision might not be in alignment with reality. But like, that's what I'm talking about. And that's why I like it. Paid traffic, the moment you stop, everything stops. Everything stops. And you actually get better quality people from organic reach, I think. When people are searching Google and they're like, how do I run Facebook ads? And they're like, oh, Miles Beckler on YouTube, click. And then they watch and they're like, dude, this dude's got 45 videos. This dude, wow, this is a whole course. This is better than the Udemy. This is better than $1,000 course I bought. Great. And they watch it. They fall in love with Miles Beckler. They become like branded, like they're part of my brand at that point. That's my whole goal. And I think that lifetime value is always going to be greater than if I just show an ad on Facebook, like, hey, learn Facebook ads, because I'll just look like all the other D-bags trying to sell their Facebook ads course.
So you start out with all that value up front
100%.
first.
Front loaded.
Come in and they buy and front load it.
Because the law of reciprocity says that if I give enough to you, you even said it because we tried, for people watching, we tried to record this yesterday. We had some tech challenges. That is par for the course. But you even said, like, Miles, like, I feel like there's people waiting with credit card in hand for you to put out an offer. Like, they just want to buy from you. You're damn right they do. That's because I've front loaded. I've given so much value. When someone gives a lot of value to you in your life, let's say you're moving your houses and your homie shows up unannounced and he brings like 4 guys and like 3 trucks and he makes that day great. Like, you're just like, oh my God, like I'm gonna buy you dinner. I'm gonna take you out to a movie. I'm gonna send you a thank you card. I'm gonna send you like a gift. Like, the law of reciprocity is real and it works in the digital age. And everyone's trying to get first. And my whole goal is like, man, if you just give first and you trust, you stick with it long enough, it's going to work. And that's where having your passion involved really matters, because it's a 3-year plan. So do 3 years of something you love or something that you're really good at.
Wow, man. Thank you.
There's the whole, that's it, man. That's the whole business model. Like, now turn off the noise and go put out work. And if you don't know what your bit is in the world, just start making videos, see what comes of it. Try something, just take forward action, pivot. More forward action, pivot. Like, the path will appear. The products we sold with my wife's first brand are very different than what we sell today. We didn't have a vision for our membership until like 3.5, 4 years in the process. The membership is by far our biggest cash flow machine we have now. 3 or 4 years of putting out things and doing things and trying things till it was like, click. And we were like, is this membership thing going to work? Let's try it. We put it up, boom, it's exploded. It's the biggest segment of our income at this point. And it just kind of appeared through trying lots of things over a few years and always focusing on how can we be of service to this audience. That's it. It's simple. It ain't easy though, like, because it takes a lot of effort and all this, man, I tell you, the enemy is up here. The enemy is between, the 6 inches of real estate between your ears. That's like, if you can't overcome that negative self-talk and the beliefs, and you can't shift that, you're never going to make it.
Okay.
When you get that shifted, that's when everything can start to work.
Here's a tactical thing then.
Cool.
If I wake up in the morning and I fucking look at my cell phone,
danger.
It triggers, it gets this like amusement part going, and I'm fucked for the whole day. But if I
reactive
look at my phone,
yep,
and I open up my goals, and I sit outside in the sun and I let my dog out and I read my life goals and mission statement, totally different tone for the day. Can you talk a little bit about
versus reactive? Yep. Because what you're doing is you're taking a proactive, but we are all conscious creators of our reality. Even if the reality we've created absolutely sucks and we effing hate it, that is of our own creation. And it is for a reason, because disgust can be one of the most powerful, motivating emotions we can ever reach. That's the point I reached in my parents' house in my 30s, moving back in with my wife. I was disgusted with what I created, especially when I was promising my wife, like, I'm going to hit it off, babe, $1 million. We're going to do this. Internet. Yeah, we go in there. On my face at my parents' house, borrowing $1,200 for this beat up ass Jeep I bought. Had to pay all, like, literally borrowing everything, just down to nothing, dude. And like, out of that came that next level. And it's like really shifting the mindset around, and just, I don't know, man. I kind of tangentiated a little bit there, and I kind of lost the forward progress from that one. But yeah, I don't know. It's possible for anyone to create. It takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of willingness to go forth and help others versus trying to help the self. And that's where the whole being of service to others comes in.
Some guys are trapped and they're watching all this crazy shit on YouTube, and they don't have a mastermind, if they're guys, say a group of guys that they can get around and that are like-minded and mastermind them.
Read the
Speak a little
books.
bit about.
Read the books. Start with Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Read that book. Then read Abraham Hicks' Law of Attraction from 1985 and realize that you're creating all of that. And that's all just beliefs. That's all just mental. There's meetup groups in your area. There's BNI groups. There's Chamber of Commerce mixers. Like, sure, they're going to try to sell you in, but you don't have to buy in. You can just show up and meet people. You can shake hands, right? Who can you help in your world? And if you're doing lawn care stuff, man, maybe you just need a test case. You find a neighbor who's got a yard that's out of control. And you're like, yo, can I just do this up for free to do a before and after picture? Like I do that. I just want a before and after picture, right? Like you can always find people to help if you really get that, if you really push it. But most people are just like, they're just lazy, dude. They just want to watch Netflix. They want to binge watch Netflix and hope that success will hit them someday, somehow. All right. And it's just like, no. We gotta change our actions for sure. And read the books. Like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich was huge for me. That was a big eye opener.
Check this out. I bought this online. It was on Shark Tank. It's called the K-Safe. So you set the timer for 10 minutes, an hour. It goes up to 10 days. There's no override. So on Sunday,
you put your phone in it?
My cell phones. I have 3 phones actually, a business and personal, and then a private line for when I go and. So anyways, so I put my phones in there, and Sunday I can't get my phones. I fucking love Sundays, bro, because I have an addiction, and I'll be doing something productive, and then next thing you know, I hate how Facebook turns on these notifications all the time because I uninstall it and I'll literally piss away 15, and I'll stand up. I'll go, what the fuck am I doing?
Totally. Happens to everybody, especially me running ads, dude. I'll log in to try to look at my ads, and all of a sudden, like I'm scrolling the timeline. Like, what? Like, how did I get here? Like, whoa. And then I'll X out of it and be like, oh, I was going to check my ads, and I'll go right back to Facebook, and it's this loop, and it's psychologically designed to do that, and it is really important to take control. And now I look at Facebook. I don't use it as a method of connecting with people anymore. It's a push notification. It's me getting my message out, me being of service to that audience. Same with Instagram, all of it. Like I'm in long enough to put something out, and then I'm out, and I don't touch it. I don't look at it. I'm actually thinking about turning off my data plan just to I just don't need it. Like we think we do, but we don't. And it's much more about what we're creating in the world and what we're putting out than it is what we're consuming. There's no point when someone's gonna be like, oh, finally I watched this thing and now I get it. Like even this podcast, right? You might get you're not going to walk away from this podcast getting it to the point that you're now successful. Like you have to go implement it. Implementation takes time, and everything that sucks that time away, Facebook, Instagram, all that, therefore that's sucking time away from your implementation. Therefore you're not doing the things to create the success that you desire. Creates this weird feedback loop of emotions. We put up a post where, oh, did anybody like it? Let me go see if I got any hearts. So we go see if I got any likes. Anybody commented on it. But none of that's moving the ball towards the actual goal, which is offer that converts, audience, being of service to the audience. Even though we maybe think it is, it really isn't.
I worry about some stupid shit. I'll post a video or something, and
this thing takes over.
I went to Logan Paul's house. I don't know if you know what the YouTube.
Oh right, yeah.
His house in LA a few months ago.
Yeah, right before his huge controversy, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, and now I have a whole bunch of footage and stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even want to make the vlogs or upload them, and it's caused this conflict thing. And when I have vlogs and I upload them, and he'll be in the background of the vlog, and I cut out the parts where I'm talking to him. But it's not like I have anything against him. It's just I thought he was way smarter.
Well, so now what I think you're thinking is, does this contribute to my brand? Does this put my brand in the position? Is this the light I want my brand to be seen within? Is this helping my audience? Is there any association? And at one point it was like maybe the association, right? Like if I had pictures of me with Evan Pagan and pictures of me with Dan Kennedy and pictures of me with Frank Kern on my website, there is some leveraged credibility there. But if it comes out in a scandal like the Weinstein thing, that all these dudes have been like Weinsteining things, I don't want those on my site anymore. That's the moment. Oh, gone. Uh-oh. Right. Like, so it's that reflection. And I think again, that all comes right down to what does your brand stand for? What is the vision? What are you really trying to create to the world? And does it run through that? Sometimes just deleting it all, wrapping it all up, being like, you know what, it's gone. And then you don't have an option. You can't think about it anymore.
Oh,
right?
that's
regret
so
the moment,
smart,
but
man.
like once it's gone, and be like, all right, well, turn the page on that. I can't tell you the number of businesses I've started that I've folded: Poker Chip Paradise, PLRarticles.com, like dozens dozens of businesses. A Left Coast Cartel had a clothing company at one point. I was flipping houses from the dorm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, literally like with other people's money, doing like flips and buying houses I couldn't afford. Like I've done all, and I just wrapped them up at some point. Like, nope, this is done. Like the whole idea I had with this other guy doing the done for you funnel services that I'm modifying, and I'm just cutting myself out of it. I'm gonna let him run with it. I'm gonna still put the marketing front end in with my face and name on it to help him. And someday we may revisit it, but I'm just cutting it out because it's a distraction and it's not contributing to my brand in the way that vision that I'm bringing to the world does.
Oh, so you got your portfolio all lined up with your core values, and whatever, you cut the losses quick.
Yep.
And get them out of the portfolio.
Yep. Just get it out of there. Get it out of the headspace. Why? Because I got a video to do. I still got to do my video today. It's Monday. I got a video to do. I've already published my blog post for the day. I've already emailed my list for the day. I've got this one interview, so I'm tapping into another audience for the day. Now I got to put out my video. I've been on 2 miles hike. Then I got to do another 4 mile hike this afternoon, and I got to meditate. And it's like 11:30. And like, I'm busy with shit I like to do. I love doing the videos. I love meditating. I love hiking. But like, my schedule is full, and anything that keeps me from doing all those things has to get cut out instantly. Because I can't, none of these are optional, right? Like sharing with your audience is not optional. Putting up blog posts on my site are not optional. Missing my Monday video is absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, not optional. Emailing my list, I email my list every single day.
That's I know you
not
do.
Optional. Yeah, it is, right? Like hiking twice a day, not optional. Meditating every day, not optional. That's a pretty busy day. So cool. And I'm busy and I love it all. And that's the kind of the cool part about it, is that I do love, but it's taken 8-10 years to figure out, what do I love? Like, I was living on beaches, and I've lived in 20 countries in the last 4 years: New Zealand, Mexico, Costa Rica, Thailand, Bali, living on beaches, living other people's dreams, surfing every day, paddle surfing in Costa Rica. Like, it's fun. I like it, but I don't want to build my life around it, I realize. So I was living other people's dreams for 4 years. Finally got in touch with my heart, my soul, what's in it for what I want. And it's pretty simple: meditating, hiking, kicking with my wife, eating plant-based food.
Dude, you just pulled the words out of my mouth. In order for you to have this level of presence and clarity and energy, you must be getting good sleep and getting really high quality nutrition without a lot of waste in your diet, and drinking a lot of fluids.
Yep, 100%. Coffee is my one thing. I don't drink alcohol at all. I haven't had to drink alcohol in almost a year and a half. I used to really like my scotches and my fancy beers and my red wines. No weed. I used to smoke a bunch of weed. Don't smoke weed no more. Eat 100% plant-based organic diet. Some call it vegan. I just call it plant-based diet. Right. Everything that's easy for my body to process. I drink a ton of water. I run my water through 3 separate filters in this house we just got. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, but it's literally the best water in the world that I possibly can, broken down into tiny molecules. I geek out on this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I could start a water niche site and sell water stuff, but I don't want to. It doesn't fit my vision, right? And this is the other thing I think people, when they get into our position, you're there now. Like, you understand WordPress site, audience growth, like how to make, and like you kind of look around, you're like, oh, I could do anything, right? And I could create a blog on anything, and I could probably go in and dominate just about any niche, and literally learning to reel that back in and stay focused on what is my mission on earth. And our mission, the crazy part is, our purpose in life is that which we declare. Right? Like, you just declare your purpose in life and then go after it. And hey, I'm here to be the most helpful internet marketer in the world. Why and how that worked, I don't really know, but that's it. So I'm just going to do that. And my wife is the angel meditation girl on earth, period. And that's just why or how that worked. I don't know. Her family doesn't get it. My family loves it. Like, it's interesting. And we're just full speed ahead with that, regardless of what people think, what people say, because it feels good to us. We get great feedback. It creates this lifestyle that we just are in love with.
Dude, I can feel when you talk, your heart, you are coming from a place of gratitude.
100%.
Right here, man.
100%. And I wasn't always there, man. I was frustrated. Why is it stacked against me? Why these kids got that? But that's what we're reading the book, like the Millionaire Next Door, and realizing like all their families are broke. They're making $250,000 a year, but they're fucking broke. Like, they're actually broker than my family. My family's at zero. Their family's probably at like negative 400, right? Like, my parents, they rented a house. They had no money. They didn't have negative money for a mortgage. They just didn't own a house. They had no debt, right? Or they had $15,000 in debt versus a huge mortgage type thing, right? So it's just learning and really getting in touch with the heart and like, what do I want out of this life? We got one chance at this life. What do you want? What do you want to create? How do you want to spend your days? I doubt it's commuting for 2.5 hours a day to a job that you hate, to be in an environment you don't love, that doesn't inspire you. So let's start creating something on the side. This is exactly how my wife and I did it. We had full-time jobs, both. I will wake up at 5 in the morning. I'd work 5 till 8. At that point, I had to go to work, and then I get home at like 6, and I would work from 7 after dinner and walk till midnight. And that was my bit. And I did it for 6 months, grinding out 18 plus hour days, and it clicked. But that was my 9th business venture, and that was 6 years after I had made my first money online. So yeah, it worked in 6 months that time, but there were 20 failed things before that. And you just have to go through failure to find success. Like, success is on the other side of failure. And everyone's like, I don't want to fail. Failure's over here, success over here. I don't want to do this. I just want to do successful stuff. When you reprogram it to like, failure's right in front of me and success is on the other side of failure, it becomes, okay, cool. Let me go fail. Aha, that worked. Okay, let's do more of that. Just like learning to snowboard. Like, you go up and you're never going to not fall your first day of snowboarding or surfing or anything that's challenging. You're going to fall. So just go up every day for a month, fall a lot, and you'll get through the learning curve quicker. If you dabble, you'll never make it through.
Bro, I really just sent up a little Instagram here. I care so much just by listening. Like, I'm setting out the intention right now. I want you on the, like, you're going to be on the Lewis House show.
There you go.
You're going to be on Joe Rogan.
I like it.
And Joe's going to be like, so what the fuck is going on, man? Like, you got
Joe's going to be like, I'm going to cut a deer open in front of you. How do you like that, vegan? I'm like, whatever, dude. It's all you. Go for it, homie.
I see you on all types of major shows and podcasts and
Cheers,
touching millions of people, dude.
Because you could feel the vision, right? And you could feel that, like, I really do care about like, it's not about me. It's about the audience. I just happen to be a media, like a channel for this information, right? And no one else is willing to give this information away. Like, what? Like, we're supposed to charge thousands of dollars?
Yeah, you're just being obedient to in serving. Awesome, man. So you got me so fired up. As soon as we get off of this, I'm going to go for a jog around my block with no phones or no nothing and just do incantations every day in every way. I'm getting smarter and smarter. Some Tony Robbins shit.
Dope.
And
well, I got a video to cut. I'm gonna do my video, get that on my channel.
Tell everybody how they can find you. And
Miles Beckler. Yeah, I'm the only Miles Beckler in the world, actually. So you can literally search Miles Beckler on any platform and you will find me. If you search on Google, you find my blog. Search on YouTube, you find my channel. Search on Instagram, you find me on Instagram. Twitter, like, whatever. Like, I'm the only Miles Beckler. So just search for me, find me, say what's up. I answer comments if you got questions. And like, you're a unique being on this earth. Like, you're here to bring something unique that only you can bring to the world. So I implore you to take the time to figure out what that is. Try some things. You might not nail it first try. That's okay. Just keep going. And once you dial that in, life gets magic. And life is meant to be magical, and it can be magical for you. So give it a shot. Go for it.
Awesome, bro. Later.
Cheers. All right, man.